Hello Pisces, my name is Paul and this is Dove and Serpent Tarot. Now this is going to be a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask that you connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I might provide. And if there is anything you would like me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Remember, Pisces, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And wow, 6 of Wands. Victory. Creative victory. Victory over ourselves. The overcoming of challenges. Right? This is a very strong energy. It's a very proud energy. Now, this reading is for, it's a bonus reading for the month of October. Okay. So let's see, what is it that you need to know? Already a lot of major arcana. Look at that. We've got the Emperor, we've got the Luster Strength, we've got Death, we've got the Hierophant, we've got more Fire, and we've got, of course, our 6 of Wands. Let's finish up Path of the Serpent here with the Sun, the Ace of Cups, the Ace of Discs, and the 6 of Cups. Wow. I remember the last reading I did for you, I kind of said, hey, this is the best reading I've ever done. Perfect cards. Well, this might actually be even more perfect than that. This is a lot of really good fire energy. We've got just a little bit of earth, though. I think maybe I would like to see a little bit more earth energy. Well, first let's do our mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. Maybe this will be some earth energy. But you know what? We're not going to find out until later because that card stays right over there with Jimbo, a.k.a. the Lizard King, a.k.a. Mr. Lizard. Now, we don't look at that card until the end, so Pisces, don't even ask, okay? Hopefully it'll tie everything together and give us the confirmation that we need. But if at any point during the reading you get an idea, a sense, a feeling of what that card is, I want you to put your prediction into the comment section of this video, okay? I'm trying to see if we can collectively raise our vibrations, tap into spirit, tap into source, and let's start discerning this mystery card together, right? Kind of as a collective exercise, okay? But first, let's look around the room. Again, we have major, 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 gosh, that's a lot of major arcana. Some really intense spiritual energies in your life right now, okay? I think that your life is really changing big time. A lot of these archetypes are being activated in you, and I think that you're making more progress now in the next few weeks than you've made like your entire life, right? This is a big leap in terms of your spiritual growth, all right? Fire, we've got fire. We've got fire. Water, we've got water. We've got water. We've got a little bit of earth. What I don't see is any air, okay? The air that we do see is primarily in the Prince of Wands here. This is the air of fire, okay? So this is kind of what we are aspiring to, a way for us to really stay committed. This is kind of a card that says we are staying on track. We're fixed in our creative fire energy. We're fixed in our will, right? And what your will is, I think is, well, basically a 6 of Cups, right? This is the kind of life that we want. This is tranquil. This is harmonious. This is your life being a true reflection of the divine life. This is real happiness, okay? This is happiness that is basically a mirror image on earth of the heavens, okay? Being a kind of perfect microcosm here with this 6 of Cups, right? I think that's what we're after. But we start with the 6 of Wands here, and this is kind of a victory or some kind of a win after a difficulty, right? So I think that you've had your challenges, you know. I think that you have, maybe there was a challenge with some kind of leadership or authority kind of thing recently. because I'm kind of feeling, well, so many major arcana. I'm feeling as if you are learning how to take command, right? Maybe you were recently put in charge of something at work, at home, at school, whatever. I feel like you're really stepping into this kind of leadership thing. We see so much fire here, right? And every fire card kind of shows a different aspect of your leadership, right? So when we get a Six of Wands, especially with a Jupiter and Leo kind of aspect here, this is you really kind of looking around, realizing like, hey, I'm doing this. You know, you're looking around with a sense of pride, of satisfaction, the sense of kind of confidence. You're kind of putting your chest out a little bit, thinking, man, I'm doing a good job here, right? That's very good energy to have, and I think this is something that you need to sustain, but also don't let it go too extreme, right? This is, again, Jupiter and Leo. It's this expansive Leo energy. It's the Leo pride that if it keeps going, it's going to be a little bit overweening, right? It's going to be a little too extreme, going to turn into arrogance and that sort of thing. We don't want that. We want just the nice balance, right? Just the perfect balance of things. And then all of the other fire cards that we see are really, to me, talking about the aspects of your leadership that we need to concentrate on, that we need to invoke, that we need to perhaps temper a little bit, maybe regulate, balance, that sort of thing. First off is this lust or strength card. This is that pure Leo energy, right? And this is an energy that thinks, I'm invincible. I am immortal. I can do anything. I can reach my hand up to the heavens and pull out a star. Right? It's that feeling that there are no limits, that there is nothing that you're not capable of. This is very good energy. Again, this energy needs to be kind of regulated, right? We don't want to get ourselves in trouble by having too much of this energy, but you need to believe in yourself. You need to believe in your creative abilities. You need to believe that you can make the impossible possible, that you can reach up and pull a star down, right, from the heavens, that you can reach into spirit and pull out manifestation, that you have that kind of magical ability. You have to believe in yourself. And not just an intellectual belief, because see, there's no air energy here. It's a fundamental belief. Not even really a belief. Maybe it's not a belief, it's a certainty. It's a gnosis. It's an intuitive, fundamental, foundational knowledge that you do this, that you are a creator. Okay? Now, the fact that we have this Ace of Cups here in the position of the environment, as well as all of this fire energy, this is kind of a suggestion to me that we might need to reach out to somebody. I feel like there's kind of there's someone that you maybe you're trying to get close to, or that you feel drawn to, you feel attracted to. I'm kind of feeling with this and these other cards that it's through some sort of a gesture toward this other person. But we might be the ones that have to initiate this. And you have all this confidence, well, it's a good time for you to reach out, right? Let's make that connection. I feel like this is you kind of making the first move to get closer to somebody. It doesn't have to be romantic. Okay? It could be a friend, family member, it could be a business thing even. Making the first move to get closer to this person. And I think that would really kind of result in more inspiration, right? That would kind of, this is that water energy that we kind of need inside of all of this fire. That's just kind of like the source of all of this love and joy and beauty. And it's just kind of, it's a different kind of inspiration than just the fire would provide us, right? So we'll keep that in mind as we go through these cards. I want to talk about the Emperor too in the recent past. This is, again, a different aspect of your leadership or your confidence that we need to address. And this is the way that you are able to control that fiery impulse, right? You have this feeling here, being invincible, being immortal, I can just reach up and grab a star out of the sky, right? Well, this is a little bit of the kind of check and balance on that. This is saying, yes, I may very well be capable of that, but let's be smart. Let's be humble. Let's take all of the information into account. This is an emperor that knows what it's doing, right? That is smart, is not reactionary, is not impulsive, is refined, is disciplined, likes to have rules and laws and order, right? Again, we don't want this to go to extreme because then we have tyranny. We have authoritarianism. But you have to have enough discipline over yourself to regulate this creative impulse, right? This fire, this leadership. Maybe this is a work thing. The Emperor, this energy at work is quite nice because it's a leader that can listen to differing opinions, can take advice from different people, and you're not rejecting any communication. But again, we don't have any air energy here. So I'm wondering if maybe we do need to increase communication in our lives, generally speaking. Maybe this Emperor needs a little more communication with others. Maybe we do have to listen to other opinions, not to be swayed in our own decisions, not to be influenced by others, but to take all of the available data into account, process it, and make our own decision. Okay. Just as I think with this water energy here in the environment, we need to be able to communicate how we feel about things. And I think that this is really talking about opening up some communications with others in our lives that will result in perhaps some healing conversations, right? We're not just all fire, we're balanced. We have all of the elements within us. Right now it feels like there's an emphasis on this creative fire, this leadership, right? This willpower, this direction, this really, really big kind of spiritual event in your life, this huge spiritual evolutionary leap that you're involved with. But there's still a need for us to heal our relationships, to make that first move to get closer to someone, right, in our lives that we want to get close to, that we will be inspired by. But then also to heal some of our existing relationships. Okay, I think that's very important. And then, of course, I talked about the Prince of Wands, which is in effect the activation of this Leo energy. We have a very strong Leo vibe going on here, Pisces. And I'm trying to remember if the reading I did a few days ago for you also had a strong Leo connection. Maybe, I'm not sure. But this is the archetype of that Leo energy. This is that Leo energy in practice. Okay, so this is you going through life day to day with this aura about you that you can accomplish anything. Now, this could be a quite isolating energy because it might cut us off from other people. This might be the kind of invincibility that says, I don't need to listen to other voices. I don't need to take others' opinions into account. Okay? Let's temper that. Let's be aware of that and not let that be an issue. Because look, underneath everything, and this is kind of an unconscious thing. This is still the need for us to learn. This is the Hierophant card. This is us being instructed, receiving wisdom from outside of ourselves. But this card is underneath the surface. So this is kind of a thing that we're trying to kind of push down and ignore, perhaps. And it's this fire energy that says, I don't need to listen to anybody else. I don't need an advisor. I don't need to listen to my attorney. You know what I mean? That's kind of unwise. Okay. This card, the Hierophant, is saying that you need to, despite your complete capability of making the impossible possible, you still need to listen to the wisdom of others, right? So this card being underneath the surface, we need to bring this into a little bit more conscious awareness. This is us taking instruction, learning, taking advice and advisement, mentorship, wisdom from the world around you, right? And this could take the form of teachers, of associates, of older, wiser people in our lives, experts in the field, people that have been there. Could be the attorney, right? It could just be the universe itself. Okay? And what I mean is, through our experiences, challenges mostly, and again, I think, like I said at the beginning, I feel like you've recently overcome a lot of challenges, that now we may be feeling like, well, I can conquer any challenge, right? But if we look at everything that way, then I think we're asking for trouble, right? There's just a little bit too much hubris there. We need to understand that life is still going to be providing us lessons. No matter how much of this confident fire energy you have, there's going to be a moment where you're humbled, right? We have to be able to learn through these challenges. Challenges in our life show us perhaps where we are most vulnerable, where we are most in need of a little increase of wisdom and experience, right? To kind of fortify that aspect of ourselves, right? But if we're pushing this Hierophant down, then we're going through life saying, I already know everything. There's nothing that this universe can teach me that I don't already know. That, I think, is kind of foolish, right? I'm glad we don't really see a fool energy on the table here. But since it is a Hierophant, we should do an I Ching reading. And the I Ching will tell us if we're being a fool or not. The I Ching is always very poignant, very on the nose, the I Ching. So we will cast a hexagram for our Hierophant energy. And let's see. 4. Not knowing. Yeah. My angel is loud and clear. Not knowing. So this, the Hierophant is all about us learning what we don't know, right? Learning the lessons from outside of us, whether it's coming in the form of challenges, of synchronicities, of just random events in our lives, or through people, right? People are everywhere, so the people are going to be involved in some way, directly or indirectly, in what's being taught us by the universe, because we don't know everything. So the hexagram is number 4, not knowing, creating success. And remember, this is the success that we're creating. The first consultation speaks clearly. The second and third pollute the waters, polluted and hence not speaking. Constancy bears fruit. So the first consultation is kind of like, we try to learn the lesson the first time, right? But if we don't, it's kind of, let's just see what it says. To be ignorant is a creative, harmonious way to engage with your world. Don't go running after answers as if it's embarrassing not to know. Holding steadily to not knowing and hence to learning will bring good results. What don't you know? What if you didn't need to know all the answers now? How can you learn from experience? Well, that's exactly what we're talking about with the Hierophant, except there's this added dimension to it. Don't go running after answers. It's okay to not know. Because like it says on the front, we ask once, right? We try to learn the lesson the first time. We take that into account. But if we just get stuck in the desire to learn, in the process of gaining knowledge, well, then we kind of go the other way on the balance, and we start getting out of the fire energy. Because now we're not doing. Now we've swung the complete opposite direction. Now it's no longer, I can do everything, I don't need any help. Now it's like, I can't do anything, I need more help. We don't want to be in either extreme, right? It is all about balance. And it's all about the balance we see in the 6 of Cups for you. I think it's really about creating that kind of harmonious, creative life. So I like this, not knowing. versus knowing, and the balance that we have to strike between these two. Always on the nose. Okay, where should we go from here? Well, we've got this death card kind of lingering. I kind of wonder if this this death card is showing generally this big spiritual leap that you're involved with. We always say that, the death card kind of moves slowly. It's steady. It's the only kind of constant in the universe. It's the only reliable energy that we can really count on, right? To always kind of be there. I think in your case, we're perceiving that there's a lot of this stuff happening at once. Right, everything we've been talking about with connecting with this person that you want to get close to, about learning the lessons, about kind of balancing our leadership and our creativity, figuring out what kind of life we want, what is our perfect pleasure, Six of Cups, tranquil life. It may seem like this spiritual leap is kind of happening abruptly all at once. Maybe that's just a flaw of our perspective. Maybe it's just a kind of relative thing. But with the death card, I feel like there are a lot of transformations. And I think this card is here to show us that we have to continue to grow. That even though you've got this, again, the Six of Wands is the victory. You had a challenge, you succeeded. You triumphed over it. Well, life goes on. It's kind of like you're only as great as your last achievement or something, This is kind of the idea that the universe forgets about your triumph as soon as you make it. It's to me it's kind of like a gambler's fallacy, right? But in reverse direction. It's almost like, well, I've won like every single time, so the odds are that I'm just going to keep winning, right? But the odds reset every time. And I think that's like, what do they say? Death is the great equalizer, right? It doesn't matter how much you've already accomplished. It doesn't matter that you've succeeded in this last challenge. That doesn't make it any more likely that you'll succeed in the next one. Because every moment is kind of, we have to be born again every moment. We have to reestablish our unity, our balance, our harmony in every moment that we exist, right? I don't think we can put in so many good deeds or so many wins or triumphs in our life that we actually will be immortal, that death will just say, okay, you've done enough now, you get a pass. So it kind of goes to that invincibility thing that I was talking about. We would just feel like, man, I could do anything. I got through that last fire unscathed. Well, that does not mean anything about the next fire. We cannot predict about the next challenge. All we can do is be as ready for it as possible. But there's no guarantee that we are immortal. In fact, I think there's a pretty good basis for assuming we're not, most of us anyway. So this is kind of meant to humble us again. There's a large contrast here with this fire energy and then everything we're kind of seeing on the flip side, right? We've got all this fire over here, and we've got the Hierophant, which is kind of like, they're kind of bummers, right? I like being in the fire energy, but then it's like, well, wait, you still have a lot more lessons to learn. You're no different than anybody else underneath it all, right? We're going to have challenges. We're going to, we're going to meet our mortality at some point. So let's take every moment as a new beginning. See, the death card is leading us right to this water and to this earth. And I think that this is meant to show us that, look, we need to reach out to this person. We need to begin that next project. We need to put all of this pride kind of behind us, really. And it's not meant to take away the glory of this. But the past glory is not a prediction of the future glory. What do they say when in investment lingo? That like past performance is not a guarantee of future returns, right, on your investment. Just because your stock did well, in the last 5 or 10 years, doesn't mean that it's not going to completely tank in the next 5 or 10 years, right? We maybe can try to say, well, it might continue to do well, but it might not. So we sometimes have to hedge our bets. But I think it's an indication that, look, I can't wait for 5 or 10 years for my stocks to do better. I can't expect in 5 or 10 years for this energy to still be around. So maybe this is saying, look, you better take advantage of this fire now, because it might not be there tomorrow. And this kind of brings us to the other meaning of the death card with the kind of castaneda influence there, that death is the advisor, that death is always just a couple steps behind us, right? We've got to keep going or it's going to catch up with us. This is the idea that every moment could be your last moment, so let's live that moment to the fullest. Okay? It's okay to celebrate your win. It's okay to be proud of yourself. But let's know when to kind of wrap up this party and get started with the next move. This is the card of progress. It shouldn't be called the death card, I don't think. This is the card of forward movement and progress. And it's really, I think, leading us to these two aces here, right? The Ace of Cups, the Ace of Discs, I think really becomes this Six of Cups. This is warmth, this is openness, this is harmony and love and balance and beauty, joy and pleasure as a direct reflection of the divine plan, whatever your will is, whatever it is that you truly desire for your happiness, right? The real meaning of your happiness. And I think it has to do with both of these aces. What are you beginning? I think you're beginning this new relationship. Again, it could be romantic, could be platonic. You're beginning this next project or this next step in your path. Okay? We have to do both of these things. There's no sense in hesitating, right? The Sun. We've got the Sun card here. We didn't talk about this one yet. This is your general energy. This is one of success. This is one of balance and one of perspective. So this is the encapsulation of all of this, right? It's the Sun that rules Leo. It's the Sun that is exalted in Aries. It is the Sun that is the 6. And this is the Sun in, what is that? Scorpio. So the Sun here is really, I think, the crux of the whole reading. And again, it's balance, right? Because it's our fire inside. The Sun has all of this kind of nuclear energy within it that is exerting pressure outwardly, right? But there's also pressure coming from outside, in terms of gravity and whatever. So the existence of this Sun, this star, which is yourself, it is just enough outward pressure to balance the gravity that's trying to crush you, the pressure that's trying to crush you, right? We don't want to have too much pressure within us, because then we kind of go supernova, right? That's when this fire energy really gets to an extreme, gets out of hand. We don't want to have too little power within us, because then we literally get crushed by gravity. Right? It becomes what, a white dwarf or something like that, I think. It has to be just the right balance, just the right equilibrium, right? The perfect balance between your humbleness and your pride, right? Very interesting card. This card's also about perspective. It's about leaving nothing hidden in the shadows, right? So even this Hierophant energy, this not knowing, you have to know what you don't know. Or you have to know that you don't know, right? You don't want to be ignorant of any part of yourself in terms of not looking at that part of yourself, right? So there are no shadows when this card is in full force. We're aware of gaps in our knowledge, gaps in our wisdom, gaps in our experience, gaps in our lives, gaps in our heart. So whatever this Six of Cups is, maybe there's a cup missing. Maybe there's a couple of things missing there. We're going to fill it with this, and we're going to fill it with that. I think it's a new relationship, a new kind of, a new inspiring relationship. Doesn't have to be romantic, but it could be. Okay, and the taking of this next step in this big project or the next move in your life. Okay. I love this reading. Let's do the mystery card. Let's get into it. I'm just going to leave that where it is. This is the point of the reading where I ask you to try to discern this mystery card. Try to connect with these energies. I know I kind of messed up the table a little bit, but hey, that's all right. Let's figure this card out together. I can leave the camera this way. If you want to take a minute, I'll have a little sip of my lemon water. My throat's getting a little dry. Starting to really like it. Okay. Gosh. I don't think we need any more major arcana. So it could be some air, because see, we didn't have any air. So that's really what we need, is just to kind of organize our thoughts. We need to make our connections. We need to have the communication. We need to open up the flow of information between ourselves and the universe, the people around us, right? It's really kind of what it all comes down to. So maybe this is going to be some air energy, but maybe I'm feeling more water energy here, more than I am the air. You know? Because I think if we got the air, here's the cat. Did you hear it? I think she's confirming my guess. This is going to be water energy. That's the confirmation that I need. She's pretty adamant about it too. Because I think if we had any swords cards, if we had any air energy here, that would kind of open up this whole other can of worms for the reading, where it would just be suggesting the need for us to not overthink. Maybe it's not the thinking that we need, it's just the feeling, the intuition, the flow, the spontaneity, right? Because if we had too much air, then this progress that we're making would stall. Because we'd say, oh, well, wait a minute, maybe I gotta rethink a few things, or I'm kind of nervous about reaching out to that person, making that phone call, sending that email, or whatever. I'm kind of nervous about this next big project, this next step, this next big move. Maybe I got to rethink things, right? So there's the idea that we need the communication, but we don't need the overthinking. So maybe it's just better we leave the swords out of it. Water energy. Yeah. 10 of Cups. This is the best kind of water energy. This is the real happiness, the real fullness in your life. And this is the absolute joy of living your best life, of having everything in place. You're not hesitating to do any of these things that you know are meant for you, that you know are leading you to your ultimate fulfillment. This is the wish being fulfilled. This is the true meaning, the real meaning of happiness for you. Okay? And all 10 of those cups, well, those are up to you to decide what they are. Anytime we get a 10 of Pentacles, I like to ask you, what is the picture of your best life? Okay? This is kind of the same thing. What is the picture of your perfect happiness? Hopefully, your 10 of Pentacles and your 10 of Cups would overlap. Not necessarily so. Maybe we have to kind of revise things as we go. What is the picture perfect happiness? What is the real meaning of happiness for you? It's a question that I want you to think about. From now until your next reading, which will be on Thursday, we're going to do an extended reading. If you want to stick around, click either above or below in the video description. Again, new readings for Pisces every Monday and Thursday. Okay. I want to thank you for watching this reading and for sticking with me 35 minutes now. We'll go ahead and wrap it up. Pisces, remember that you are the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you, and I hope you'll come back and see me again very soon.